This is literally biological. They not crazy and we're not insensitive.
Welcome
to the J&O Show,
where we talk about
things that we were never told. I'm Jay.
And I'm O.
And now you know.
If you guys are new to our channel, please make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on those post notifications so you can know when we upload, because you never want to miss an episode.
Indeed.
Also, if you guys are new here, we love to hear from you. If you have ideas for show topics, please make sure you put them in the comment section and write #NextShow, so that way we can easily filter through and bring you the topics that you want. Okay?
Indeed.
All right. So today we are actually going to be talking about something that came up in one of our previous videos that Jay was like, oh, I'm actually gonna look that up. Men tend to mature faster than guys, and I think that the things...
I'm gonna legit look that up one day.
And so he did. We wanted to actually bring you our findings in, what was it?
Do women really mature faster than men?
Right. Do women really mature faster than men?
Yes.
We thought that that would be interesting to actually discuss, because we hear it all the time, but never really, I guess, from a scientific point of view, or like why that is and different things of that nature. So we figured that that would be... Sorry. We figured that that would be something worth bringing out, especially since we're a relationship channel. We're talking about relationships and how to have stronger and better relationships. And it's important to understand the differences, I think, psychologically, psychologically between men and women.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the video, like she said, she was like, women mature faster than men. And I was like, I gotta look that up. Now that you think about it, because there's a lot of stuff that we just assumed or that we were told that are all either not necessarily true, or it's like you have to look at it a certain way where like your mind has to be opened a different way to like, receive the information, all that stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna look that up, see what it is. So the first thing, yes, women mature faster than guys. Most studies reveal that it goes basically all the way up until they're around in their 20s. Of course, it's different depending on the guy, depending on the girl. There's always outliers, and then there's people that skew one way or another. But generally, basically up until around the 20s, women mature at a faster rate than guys do. And there are actually scientific reasons. I didn't just want to get a bunch of pieces about people, you know, trying to downplay one side, the opposite sex and stuff like that. I actually wanted scientific stuff to see what it really, really is. There was a small discrepancy. I saw a study that said that it's basically like this up until almost 40. But most of the ones I found said it goes basically until like the early to mid 20s. That it's a faster rate. So first I'm gonna throw out some facts, all right? Maturity is described as responding in an appropriate manner at any given situation. That's what maturity is considered. So I just want to get that out there first, so that we have basically a base for us to start the discussion on. And then I'm gonna give you guys some of the facts I found, and then we can go into whatever discussion, depending on how long it takes me to get through it. Okay. All right. So women's brains go through a process of making social connections faster than men's. And this is the root of the difference in maturity between men and women as far as the speed at younger ages. Just like with the body, brain connections are made or are used or not used, and they will deteriorate or strengthen based on use. So basically, when it comes to a lot of the stuff, like one of the things that we found out when we were doing Caroline Leaf and we were watching some of her videos and some other like the differences between men and women's brains, is that women make connections, they're emotional, what we would consider like spiritual, like feeling vibes or spiritual connections and things like that tend to be stronger. It's actually like brain connections being made that make them skew that way. They make the emotional connections earlier than men, and they're stronger. Men actually have fewer connections in their brains tying emotions. So if you're in a relationship and you're wondering why the guy doesn't care as much as you do, or if you're a guy and you're wondering why is it so important to her, certain things, and you consider like more emotional subjects, like why you don't communicate with me, why you don't share your emotions, or why you want to share so much. It's literally biological.
Right.
Like the connections in women's brains develop earlier and they're stronger. So that's a big thing. And because of that, when it comes to social situations, you're talking about handling social situations, how you handle them, women are more sensitive.
Right.
They're more detail oriented. They can sense when somebody's offended a little bit easier. They can sense when somebody's happy a little bit easier. They can sense when somebody is putting on a front easier, because they're literally built to sense those things. Mm-hmm. And those things, especially when you develop them earlier, because, you know, as a kid, there's a certain innocence.
Right.
Kids that pick on each other are usually just following the behaviors that they grow up in.
Truth.
I would say generally, barring, you know, whatever their environment, kids just want to be happy and they want people around them to be happy.
Right.
And they will sense that and they will sort of move to try. I can't even tell you how many times my kids were trying to cheer me up for absolutely no reason. Like, just, no, I want you to be happy, Dad, because, you know, we should just be happy and play all day. Yeah. That's what it is. I don't know why you're so sad. And so the same thing with women, it's a stronger thing. Some of the other stuff I found. By about year 1, the differences between male and female brains show. Females' recognition of the details come into play. Like female children, their recognition of details, the differences between men and women's voices. Why it may seem that female babies or young kids respond to mom easier, better, faster, or whatever. You know, a lot of times the boy's brain is not recognizing the tone of the female voice because it's not a jarring thing.
When they're babies, though?
When not babies, but like
when
children.
They get a little bit, yeah, like
when they're children.
Toddler.
So basically 1 and up. So
Okay.
from when they can crawl, maybe even babies too. But
so?
but the study said by year 1. So I'm gonna go by what the study said. Forget what I think. Year 1. The study said year 1. Like I said, there are gonna be some babies that are a little bit earlier, and there are gonna be some babies that are a little bit later. And it's just not happening until they're 2. Like, it just depends. But usually around year 1, those recognition things come into play. So you're talking about all the way from year 1, the female baby is a little bit ahead socially, because if mama say stop, the female child is like, ooh, huh, ma? No? I shouldn't be doing this. If they even have recognized what no means, you know, that all depends. But the male child can't even recognize the subtleties in a woman's voice because they don't have the detail-oriented part of their brains. And that's going to continue from here on. I'm just telling, like, you know, it does. It just is. I remember one time your mom was telling me about how the children react to like my voice versus when you and her were talking to our kids. Okay. And she was like, it's something about that male voice that makes them, and it's literally, especially for the boy, it's jarring. Like, it commands his attention because it's deep, it's booming voice. And I talk loud sometimes, y'all, so there's that too. And as opposed to mom's sweet voice. And our daughter is definitely more receptive to when something happens. When something happens and she hears one of our voice, she's like, squirrel! Like, what happened? I ain't in trouble, right? Okay, what you want? Whereas our son, he ain't paying you no attention at all.
Please pray for him.
Yes.
Pray
So,
for him.
like even when I speak to him, I can't just be like, hey, I'm like, Cairo. No. No. I'll be like, Cairo. He's like, yeah, Dad. You know, like, immediately. So that's actually a physical thing. That's not something they're necessarily doing intentionally between the boys and the girls.
Right.
Wow, this is going to be, I'm looking at the time already. Let me see what else we got. Women's brains.
Which I always thought, while you're getting that point. I was going to say, which I always thought that was interesting, because I'm just like, why is it that I have to like yell in order for more so my son, like he said, for him to be able to respond or listen to me? Like, I'm talking to him and it's just like, I'm like, is he ignoring me or what have you? But I have to tell him things so many times, and to the point where I'm like, I have to yell at him for it to click or for me to be able to get his attention. Then he's just like, oh, huh? You said something?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were talking to me.
You know? Yeah. It really is.
Like,
yeah. It's crazy. So I actually have it written down. It says females' recognition of details coming into play as a child. They can hear things like a female voice, and it will stop them from doing certain things, which is why they have better behavior. The boys, however, do not have attention to detail needed to make these decisions. So there you go. Women's brains are wired for social interaction, which is, I also said. Women's brain area for emotions, memory, and communication are larger. This is the hippocampus area of the brain. It also attributes to why women use so many more words during the course of a day. On average, women use about 20,000 words a day compared to men's 7,000 words a day.
Yikes.
It's a huge difference. So if y'all wondering why the woman that you're dating want to talk so much, or your wife wants to talk so much, and you just like, we ain't got to talk, it ain't got to be that deep. Why is we?
And we're like, no, we gotta talk.
Yeah, and it's about communication, and you have to, like, this is literally biological. They not crazy, and we're not insensitive. It's literally a biological thing going on here. So these are certain things you can have in the back of your mind to help you have a little bit more patience with each other, because when you understand, like, yo, you literally can't help it. Like, it's gonna be hard work for us to meet in the middle. It's not a thing that we're just born like, oh, something wrong with them, or something wrong with the men, or something wrong with the women. Right. It's not that. There are little biological differences that we have to overcome to communicate, and that's why it seems like men and women speak different languages. So it's some crazy stuff. So anyway, as a matter of fact, the early female teens have a stronger brain connections in the area that control impulse, which is the amygdala, and judgment, which is the prefrontal cortex. So they literally have stronger connections in the parts of the brain, like I said before, that control impulse and judgment. So it's not just the details. The part that controls the judgment and the impulse is stronger as well.
Right.
So that's like, ugh. So this is all for younger kids going up to, like, some of these things are adult things too. So even when you're 40, women still have stronger connections in the emotional part of the brain, and the men still have a strong connection to the logical part of the brain. Remember, we always say, together. We are meant to work together, like, to have the best parts of the machine. Like, we are literally built like a puzzle, men and women. So it's like crazy. Let me see what else I have. I found a lot of facts that are not directly dealing with this, that are directly dealing with some things we talk about. So I'm trying to filter through, so please be patient with me. Go, look what I found. Okay, boy, if you don't. So now this I found it in the studies because it was like biological differences in our brains, not necessarily about maturing, but it'll give you some insight marriage wise as far as your physical relationship with each other.
Okay. The
area for men which controls sex in the male brain. That was a real cough. That was not a funny. That was a real cough. Is literally twice as large. Twice as large. Twice as large as the woman's area that controls sexual desire. When I found this out, I was like, it's a setup. This is bull. Why is it not the same height? What? Bruh. Yes. The area in men's brain.
Interesting.
And the kicker is when you're talking about, like, cheating and all of this other stuff, and you're like, man, be cheating, they ain't trash, and this, that, and the third. Yo, it is literally a biological difference in sexual desire between men and women, because the part in our brains that control it is bigger than women's. You want to talk about some need for compromise? Woof. If y'all don't have the communication together, bro, you're just gonna have a lot of drama biologically. Like, it crazy. Let me see if I see any other interesting facts that I wrote down. It was a lot, y'all. I went through a bunch of stuff, and I just compiled it all with the stuff that they all seem to agree on, because some of them was going off left. It's like, this is why women ain't, this is why men ain't, and I was just like, okay, I don't like that study. I want some scientific stuff here. Okay, during puberty, a girl is as much as 2 years more mature than a boy. So that's another thing I found. When women form positive relationships with each other, the hormone oxytocin, I don't know what's going on with my tongue right now. Like, it's not making sense. Okay,
we're gonna put it right here.
So yeah, when women form positive relationships with each other, the hormone oxytocin is actually released into her body. This is the same hormone that is released when an addict partakes in cocaine and heroin. Women are actually addicted to having positive relationships with each other.
That's deep.
So when you're talking about social interaction and maturity, like, they literally thrive off of. Now, there is a downside, because there's also the hormone that is released when women gossip. So it's like the same thing, But a lot of times when you're with somebody and you're talking about something that would be considered gossip, you're actually forming a bond because you're relating on things that you either agree about or a perspective or point of view. That can flow right over into gossip.
True.
So
If you're not careful.
Right. So like that's another thing to understand about the difference between men and women. They're actually getting like literal physical pleasure from having good relationships with each other. So it's like, bro, so it's crazy. So men are wired to have acute focus, but women are hardwired to multitask. But the reality is they don't necessarily multitask, but they're able to switch back and forth between multiple things so fast and not lose their place with where they were, which is like crazy. And often a lot of this information can be completely changed, lessened, or increased by how a person is raised. So depending on how you're raised, a lot of these things that are facts about us biologically can be trained in or out of us. So there's that. And that's about it. Now, the overall thing that I did see at the end of one of them that was trying to sum them up was that men are not more mature than women overall, and women are not more mature than men overall because of how we handle our situations. But women just get to a certain point faster.
Okay.
Because control of emotion helps you to actually do the definition of maturity.
Okay.
So I think I've told you before, growing up and becoming an adult is the process of learning to control your emotions.
Okay.
So in that, after we actually catch up, men have a leg up because we're more logical anyway. But yet we don't necessarily receive the positive reinforcement physically from having positive relationships. So it's like when I say that we tend to be balanced, we tend to be balanced.
Okay.
Like it's because you guys promote healthy relationships in one way because you literally receive a physical pleasure from it, emotional pleasure from it. On our side, because we tend to be logic before emotion, that helps us to create relationships. But it's usually based on like, what does this get me? So does this positive relationship help me in any way? Does it help me to be a better person? Does it help me in my business? Does it help me? I don't know. The guy keeps me in the gym, and I know being physically fit is good. Like, we usually have reasons for why we have relationships based on logic, right? And it could be good or bad logic. It can be, you know, he just helping me get my money right, and then I'm done with him. I can't stand him. Or it can be, yo, he's actually helping me, or he or she is actually helping me to have a better quality of life. It's reasoning. Where with women, it's like, yo, I actually gain. It makes me feel good to have good relationships with people.
Right.
So it's like we arrive at the same thing, but for different reasons. So these are the findings that I found based on the speed of maturity and what maturity actually is. And it just sort of goes back to what we were saying before.
Okay.
Like we made to work together, y'all. I'm sorry you can't run from it. I'm sorry.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But yes, women do mature faster than men. And we wanted to make sure we put that out there. Hopefully this will be edited to not be 20 minutes long, because it's 20 minutes on the clock right now. And that's so however you guys can find to use these to your advantage, hopefully it helps you to increase your ability to communicate with your mate.
Right.
And to have more patience, and to have more patience with your kids, which ever since I found this stuff, it has helped me to have more patience specifically with my son. And
True.
and help me to figure out how to communicate between my son and my daughter differently.
Right.
Some of the stuff we were picking up on before that we would talk about, like how we speak to our daughter is not generally how we speak to our son, because we're more result oriented when it comes to our parenting. At least we try to be. We try not to get too locked up in how we feel. Doesn't always work, but we try.
It sure don't.
It doesn't always work, but we try.
Right.
And it does dictate how we treat them.
Right.
And I also try to spend time talking to them to let them know, hey, I talk to you like this because you respond like that. I talk to you like this because you respond like that. Not because I love this one more or because I love that one more. I love both of you. And I try to communicate that to my kids all the time, so they know that I love them and that I treat them differently because I want them both to be successful. And because they're different, I have to talk to them differently.
Right.
And I don't know how much of that they get because I'm 6 and 8, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be in the practice of them hearing it their whole life.
Right.
So that when they get older, I don't want there to be any jealousy between them or between them and people outside of our household.
Right. Right.
So, we trying, y'all.
Yeah. Because that all kind of, I was going to say, boils down to sometimes the thought process, like you favor one kid over the other or what have you. It's not about favoritism.
Sometimes it is. It depends on.
Well,
okay.
well.
It depends. It depends on the parents. It does.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully, though.
Yeah, hopefully it wouldn't be. But just coming to learn these different things help us have a better understanding on why basically some people do the things that they do and why we choose to do the things that we do. Because as Jay just said, we want to make sure that our kids, we want the same for them at the end of the day.
Right.
And in order for us to achieve that, we have to learn how to approach each child differently because everybody's different.
Right.
So, yeah. Right. But we hope that you guys enjoyed this video. That's going to wrap it up for today. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Describe.
No, I said and subscribe.
I thought you said and describe. I thought she said and describe.
Maybe.
You can describe it to somebody too. I appreciate that. Just describe on the channel so they can know. Describe to them what's going on over here. Hopefully we're giving you guys some good information that you can use to make your lives better.
Yes, because that is the purpose.
That is the purpose
of this channel.
Indeed.
All right. But we'll see you guys next week. Till then, deuces.
Press the off button.